Is there any coffee left?
Yeah. Drank it all so far.
I had 1.5 cups.
I've had 0 cups.
Well, maybe you should have had coffee faster.
We need to heat this up and then throw it in your face.
I'd prefer if you didn't. Is it tepid? Some tepid coffee?
Bye.
I love you.
Okay.
Hello, Internet. How are we doing? Welcome back to Mr. D Likes Rap. I know it's been a while since my last video, and honestly, I wasn't really anticipating doing any videos over the break, if I'm being honest. I was supposed to be shooting a short film on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday of this past week. That got canceled. I was supposed to fly home on Friday, so 2 days ago. As you can see, I'm still in British Columbia. Not really a good time to be on a plane, airport, or with any other human being for that matter. With the world being in a bit of a chaotic state, I think we're gonna have to stay put for a little while. I will say it's pretty decent timing for somebody like me. It was my spring break. Now I just have some free time around the house, read some books, play some Super Nintendo, and of course, make some videos. Now, these are very crazy times. I've noticed that Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat, TikTok, it's a lot of reminders about the situation, about the coronavirus situation, and this is Mr. D Likes Rap. There's no point talking about something that we all know is a pretty weird, crazy situation. I'm here to talk about rap music. That's about it. Plus, especially with a guy like Lil Uzi Vert, hasn't dropped an album in 3 years. I know about that. And then he drops 2 albums in 1 week. It's bananas. You gotta talk about that. But before I jump into the music, I just wanna say 2 very simple things. 1, wash your goddamn hands. Wash them for 20 seconds. Soap all over them. That's all you gotta do. Number 2, social distancing. As weird as it sounds, it's our best weapon against this kind of stuff. Just stay home. Only leave if you have to leave the house. Okay? Binge that Netflix series. Learn a hobby. Start a YouTube channel. It's not that hard. Read a book, do a puzzle. You just stay in. That's it. And I guess if you're staying in, go through Mr. D Likes Rap, the archives, watch some old videos, take a trip down memory lane into the hip-hop of older times. All right, now I can take off the Mr. D responsible human being hat and put on the Mr. D Likes Trap music hat, and let's talk about some Lil Uzi Vert. Welcome back to Mr. D Likes Rap.
Too many thoughts on my mind, I can't sleep at night, so I just keep writing. I don't need no help, I don't need opinions, so don't waste my time then. I just been living online.
Okay, why am I talking about Lil Uzi Vert today? Lil Uzi Vert, or as my friend Mr. Blaine calls him, Little Uzi Vert. I've had my ear to the Uzi universe for the last little while now. I didn't like the song That's a Rack, but I did like the song Sanguine Paradise. I didn't really care for that way, but I also really liked Futsal Shuffle 2020. He's got a unique voice, unique style, and he always knows how to take advantage of some fantastic production. I have a very good idea of what this guy brings to the table. And then March 6th hit, and the world of hip-hop let out a very massive collective sigh because there was an Uzi project within the realms of our Spotify and Apple Music accounts. Hallafrickin-luya. And going into this review, I have listened to this album a lot. Eternal Atake specifically, I have listened to it front to back about 4 or 5 times in preparation for this review. I eventually wanted to make a video about it. This is an important album. A lot of kids were really excited when they first saw it drop. So basically I dove headfirst into the world of Balenci, Paddock, Guap, what else did I write down? Benzes, and so many euphemisms for getting money and oral sex that I'm really starting to wonder if Lil Uzi is just starting to make things up on the fly. I still wouldn't know. Anyway, let's talk about Eternal Atake. After listening to this project, I totally get the appeal of this guy. I really get it. It's got the beats, the instrumentals, the vibe, as the kids in my English class like to describe music. It's all there. It's fantastic. He spits his lines with a lot of confidence. He's got some really snappy one-liners. His vocal range is dope. He's got that high-pitched voice that can really help on a nice hook, and he can throw in a decent flow on some of his verses. And I will say, there are a few songs on here that I'm going to come back to when all's said and done. Some of the songs that I really liked. the opener, Baby Pluto, Celebration Station, Bigger Than Life, and Chrome Heart Tags. With all these songs, there's these very vibrant, like gorgeous vocals and instrumentals underneath. They give them this like larger than life quality. Like they sound very epic, very, very grand. I love it. Even Homecoming hits with this very fierce drum beat, and Lil Uzi drops these really fast-paced bars, kind of taps into his inner future by the end of the song. It's good. These are some solid songs. I'll give it to Lil Uzi Vert. You hooked me in. I like him. That's why I listen to this album, because of these songs. So internet, on an official capacity, I will say Mr. D enjoys some Lil Uzi Vert music. Rejoice. But there are some issues on this album that cannot be ignored. I gotta talk about them. So, I know, guy like Lil Uzi Vert, we're not here for his lyrics. We're not here to see what the wordsmith Lil Uzi Vert threw out on his pen game. That's not why we're here. We're here for the wild instrumentals and his quirky, fun voice, saying usually nonsense. For a guy like Uzi, his audience, they're okay with a repetitive hook, repetitive lines, repetitive words, most things done in a repetitive fashion. He's got a lot of corny lines about the sex, the diamonds, the money, and the cars. That's what this trap music's about. I get it. Like if we look at the formula for an Uzi song, you take this incredibly gorgeous production and instrumental, and then you slap some nonsense over top of it. That's what he does. I'm gonna call this song Top It Off. What does that even mean? Top what off? So Uzi can throw out a hook that doesn't really say anything that he hasn't said before, but it's okay. We get something like, those stacks I top it off, I got them racks, they call me boss, I spent $1 million on my wrist, and you know it's just because. That was kind of generous, but you get the idea. It's nonsense, but it sounds cool. That's where Uzi thrives. And when it comes to an Uzi project, you just fill the verses with lines about getting blowjobs and wearing diamonds and filling your very expensive jeans with high-value currency. 50s, hundreds, all in your Balenci jean pockets. Balenci, is that a clothing brand? I'm too lazy to look it up. Now we take that theme, those ideas, and we repeat it 20 times on a project. Boom, we got it. That is an Uzi project ready to roll out. Sure, his voice is nice, but are we gonna let this guy just repeat the same stuff over different beats for over an hour? Of course, this thing is #1. Everyone's listening to Uzi Vert. I'm not gonna deny that. People are fans of his. There's a reason. It's about more than the lyrics with this guy. Like, I'm gonna sound like a boomer on this one, but in this new era of hip-hop, we're moving away from like well-crafted albums and projects where you take the best of your best and you organize it in some sort of a cohesive narrative. Something like that. Again, I feel like nowadays we're just more focused on the data dump, throwing all your songs into something more of a playlist, not really an album, like the Culture 2 effect. I will say that the first half of Eternal Atake is stellar. There's a lot of good tracks on there. The stuff that I mentioned earlier, I can get behind the first 10 or 11 songs. They're really solid. But the last 8 or so songs, you get like Bust Me to Secure the Bag. They're so bland. They're low energy. Like it almost feels like a completely different project. The vibe I get from the first half is just super different from the second half. We get a song like P2. It's quite literally a rehashed version of his most popular song. Do I like it? I guess. Is it lazy? Incredibly. At the end of the day, I think audiences are just super psyched to get a bunch of Uzi music to listen to. It's easy to ignore the flaws. It's been 3 years, so any Uzi is going to be pretty amazing. And it's a perfect time for an Uzi project to drop right before self-isolation. You're not going to be bored. You're going to be doing your puzzles, listening to some Secure the Bag and some Chrome Heart Tags. I love it. Enjoy it. My other major issue with this album is the very weird outer space abduction concept that Uzi kind of slapped in at the end of most of the songs on this album. It seems as though Uzi was abducted by a spaceship, held against his will. He had to push some buttons. He sounds very confused. And then he's back home explaining that, oh man, I gotta release my album before it's too late. I was just abducted by aliens. It was super weird. It's just, how do I put this? It's like, if you're trying to do a concept album you kind of want there to be some sort of a connection between the thing that you're doing at the end of your music and the music itself, right? Like, all of his songs are about nonsense, which we can all agree on. But then to slap the concept, the theme, the spaceships, the struggle to be free from the captivity of the aliens, whatever the hell it is, there's absolutely nothing. There's absolutely no connection at all. All this concept does is add these clunky transitions between each song. You can argue there's sort of a spacey vibe in the instrumentals throughout a lot of these tracks. But at the end of the day, I think it's just a half-assed attempt to bring cohesion into a project that really has no cohesion. There's 18 tracks, so I ain't doing track for track. Let's move on to them final thoughts. So, I walked into this album with very not so high hopes. I'm not an Uzi guy. I already know his stuff more or less isn't really for me. But I will say that I'm pretty stoked that after listening to this album 4 or 5 times, I could come away with some tracks that I can have a pretty strong appreciation for. There's some super unique and creative instrumentals and some catchy hooks sprinkled throughout the project. But my expectations for an album 3 years in the making are too high to tolerate a very weak concept, bloated track list with repetitive lyrics, and a lot of low-energy songs on the back half of the album. I'm really looking for rappers and artists to fine-tune their track list. Just show me the best of the best. Don't dump out every single song that you've written just to get the stream numbers up. Like, it would be nice to see a project with a bit of a connecting narrative. It might be the English teacher in me, but there should be some underlying message or theme that you can find underneath these songs as you go through the track list. But with this album, nothing really. What Uzi can do is pretty much patch together the same ideas about sex, diamonds, money, wealth, cars, all that stuff into a very long, bloated track list that doesn't really amount to anything else. Like I said before, I didn't have super high expectations, so to walk away with those songs that I mentioned earlier, I'll take it. Report card time. So stay tuned for my next video, hopefully out tomorrow. I get to go over the deluxe edition, Love vs. the World 2. Stay safe out there, internet. Keep washing those hands, and stay the hell inside. Pick up a book. Watch Mr. D Likes Rap. Any of those things are fine. Mr. D signing off.